Recently, the girls have been going down the alt-right pipeline, and it has been a sad thing to see. Recently, Sweeney of Euphoria fame posted this very weird ad with American Eagle, which kind of showed where we as a country are going, and I'm saying right now, we are cooked. When they started pushing all of this trad wife content and I kept seeing Nara Smith on my timeline, me, Ella Pastoral, I said, okay, things are looking scary. But when they posted that nonsense with Sweeney and American Eagle, talking about some Sweeney has good genes, I said, oh no, the state of our country is cooked. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the recent Sweeney ad, all of the weird white supremacist stuff I've been seeing, as well as talking about how a lot of this alt-right conservative nonsense has been pushed to women and how I'm just not going for it. So if you guys have watched the video that I released a while ago talking about how a lot of white female characters in the media that we watch have this victim mindset and they are white supremacists, I mentioned Sweeney's character of Cassie Howard as being one of the main white women that I see in TV that uses their white privilege in order to be dangerous. Knowing that this is a character that she plays, I was not gonna hold it against her. But there was something about Sweeney that I could not put my hands on, and why whenever I saw anything with her in it, I would be disgusted. Recently, Sweeney and American Eagle posted this ad that was so eugenicist and so white supremacist in nature that I was like, I have to talk about this girl again. I knew I didn't like her when she was Cassie in Euphoria. And I also didn't like her when it came out that her family was Trump supporters and she was holding on to them having the biggest smile on her face. And people on Twitter were trying to convince me that, oh, just because you have Trump supporters that's family members and you're posted up with them having the best time of your life doesn't make you inherently a problematic person. Her actions following that scandal have also been a mess. She has been using the fact that men sexualize her to her advantage, but at the end of the day, I still find her extremely weird. When she did that whole campaign to sell that soap, I said, okay. It was still weird to me, but I was like, whatever. But this recent ad with American Eagle has just rubbed me completely the wrong way. So many people on Twitter right now, specifically the conservatives who think that we can't think for ourselves, have tried to convince us that she's just selling ads. But if you ever took honors English, AP Lit, AP Lang, and know how to analyze commercials for what they're trying to actually sell you, you can realize that what Sweeney is trying to sell you isn't actually jeans. She and American Eagle, for some reason, I know the reason, are trying to promote the idea of white supremacy in our very faces. And it is because we are yet again living in a Trump era. Ever since Trump said no more DEI, American Eagle and a bunch of other brands that said that they were for the people, you know, all Americans, not just white ones, they said, thank God, we can finally go back to our true selves. And the American Eagle ad with Sweeney goes to further prove my point. I'm gonna play it for you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sweeney has very jeans.
You see what I did there, right? Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sweeney has very jeans.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sweeney has very jeans.
Not tell me that this ad is normal. The fact that American Eagle and Sweeney are using the double entendre of jeans with a J and jeans with a G in order to try to sell us this nonsensical image is a damn shame. What makes me even more upset is the fact that there are people right now trying to say we're reading too deep into it. Homegirl is talking about genes are something that you get from your parents that are passed down. If you can't read into it, I'm sorry that you didn't do good in honors English. That's not my fault. And if the imaging wasn't right there in your face, look at the way she is wearing her outfit. That jean strip plus pants combo is doing absolutely nothing for her. It literally looks like she stole somebody's outfit because it just doesn't look good on her. That is something that I'm now really hearing people say. Like, I get it. Sydney Sweeney's whole brand is that she's a very hypersexual, like, vixen character in lieu of Marilyn Monroe, but like, make America great again 2025, right? But it doesn't even fit her. The outfit does not look good on her, and that makes me so sad. You're supposed to be allegedly selling clothes, but the clothes don't even look good on her. And I've seen so many conservatives right now on Twitter practically trying to say that this ad that Beyonce did and this nonsense that Sydney Sweeney did is the same thing, and that these liberals are trying to make this into an overblown thing. But literally, look how Beyonce's outfit is fitting her, number one. Number two is look at what Sydney Sweeney is wearing. It doesn't fit her. Two, look at the words she's saying.
The secret of life lies hidden in the genetic code. Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. Occasionally, certain conditions produce a structural change in the gene, which will bring about the process of evolution. This may occur in one or more of the following ways. Firstly, by selective mating, in which a single gene type proves superior in transmitting its genes to future generations. Secondly, by gene drift, in which certain genes may fade away while other genes persist. And finally, by natural selection, which filters out those genes better equipped than others to endure in the environment. This may result in the origin of an entirely new species, which brings us to Calvin's and the survival of the fittest.
Calvin Klein genes.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
I honestly feel like I'm being so gaslit. Huh? And what makes me so mad about this whole situation with Sydney Sweeney is a lot of people are discounting how important gene culture is to African Americans. So many people across the diaspora, as well as including non-black people, consistently devalue the importance of African Americans in terms of American culture. One of the things that has always been so pertinent to me in terms of African Americans is gene culture. I know that we have practically co-opted it into everyday American culture, but African Americans have been holding it down in terms of the whole denim on denim situation.
Denim jeans are a staple item, a piece that can sometimes transcend style and class. But do you know the sordid history of denim and its relation to enslaved African Americans? Welcome to Black Fashion History. Yves Saint Laurent once said, "I wish I had invented blue jeans. They have expression, modesty, sex appeal, simplicity, all I hope for in my clothes." Unfortunately for him, the creation of denim would precede Yves Saint Laurent by at least 300 years. Denim is said to have originated in 17th century Nîmes, a city in the south of France. The word denim is an English colloquialism for de Nîmes, meaning from or of Nîmes. Other places around the world, like Genoa, Italy, and Dungary, India, which would bring dungarees to England, were said to be large importers or developers of denim. And parts of India, as well as parts of Africa, would provide indigo to dye the famed textile, a way to cover any dirt from the laborers wearing them. But what does this have to do with enslaved African Americans? A lot of times when we think of the origin of denim in the US, we start with Levi Strauss & Co., which was founded by Levi Strauss, a German-American entrepreneur, in 1853, or that it's only about cowboys and bad boys. Although, Marlon Brando certainly did them justice. It starts much earlier than that, which even Levi's acknowledges, with enslaved Africans bringing their knowledge of indigo to the United States. Before there was King Cotton, there was indigo. The dye was worth its weight in gold and was dubbed the devil's dye. At this time, with triangle slave trade, enslaved Africans were abducted and brought to the US, a lot of them bringing knowledge on how to grow, harvest, and use the crop for clothing and other textiles. Eliza Lucas Pinckney would capitalize on their knowledge, transforming the agricultural and economic development of the South by becoming one of the biggest growers and sellers of indigo. Of course, because of the labor of enslaved people. Eventually, cotton would become the cash crop of the South, but the two crops would work in tandem to develop Negro cloth, or slave cloth, an early iteration of denim in the US that was used to dress enslaved people and other laborers. In the 1930s and 40s, denim would be appropriated by rich dudes and dudines at vacation ranches in the West, filled with city slickers hoping to live a bit of the country life. But with denim being the face of the laborer, especially during World War II with Rosie the Riveter, the rise of the bad boy with Marlon Brando and James Dean, the 70s hippie movement which brought embellished and decorated pants, and the overall progression of casual wear / ready-to-wear clothing, denim would become the face of American fashion, and their sordid history and link to triangle slave trade would be forgotten.
And I'm just going to be including little videos to show what I'm talking about. So the fact that white conservatives are trying to devalue African Americans and then at the same time trying to prop up Sydney Sweeney, it's a mess.
While American Eagle set Sydney Sweeney up to talk about how great and blue her jeans are, the real jeans come from African people, enslaved African people, Africans in the continent, because you cannot have jeans without indigo. On both sides of my family, indigo plays a significant role in the cultivation of who I am. My dad's great-grandmother was an enslaved woman who cultivated indigo in the Low Countries of South Carolina. Same with my mom's family. My grandfather's great-grandparents came from modern-day Guinea and Mali and cultivated indigo as enslaved people. This is lepi, which comes from Guinea. It is traditionally worn by Fulani women, and it was a gift to me. And you see, I call myself daughter of the indigo fields, and I even wrote a poem on my Substack about how indigo has always been a part of my life. I grew up always knowing where we come from, how our people got here, where our people resided before they were enslaved and brought here, and it's always been in my family. For the past 60 years, my family has made it their business to always retain the culture and the history. Before jeans were made popular by Levi and other companies, jeans were known as the Negro cloth. It was looked down on. Slaves wore jeans as a uniform, as a way to shun them and set them apart from their white counterparts or their enslavers, their colonizers. Still to this day, the Gullah Geechee people in South Carolina and in Georgia and northern parts of Florida still make indigo cloth that looks almost identical to those that are made in the Sahel region of West Africa, where our ancestors were taken from. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more you're liberated.
There's an angle to this Sydney Sweeney ad that I have not seen anyone discuss yet, and honestly, I think it's super important that we do so. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so denim is made from two key materials, and that's cotton and indigo. The combination of those two materials when it was made was referred to as that. Now, most folks already know that cotton was a major crop that was harvested by enslaved people, but people don't think about indigo, and honestly, indigo was a much larger kingpin at the time. As a matter of fact, it was a major motivating factor in establishing slavery in the South, because if it weren't for the European settlers that came here and their desire to continue the indigo industry, we probably wouldn't have had slaves here. On the 1700s, indigo was more valuable than cotton and sugar and was looked to hold more power than the gun. At a time in history, people were actually using indigo cakes as currency. Before the denim that we know of today, which was rigid and uncomfortable, but it was durable, indigo-dyed cotton cloth was purchased by plantation owners for enslaved people because it stood out. You could see it from far away. And it was meant to create a stark difference in appearance because plantation owners were wearing linens and laces and soft materials and velvets. Meanwhile, enslaved people were almost exclusively put in denim. It's gross. In fact, denim fashion staples that we know of today, like overalls, trucker jackets, and work shirts, all originated on plantations. Now, civil rights activists and freedom fighters specifically were mainly responsible for denim's fashion resurgence in the 1960s. What's really amazing is the march that happened in Washington that was led by Dr. King made blue denim popular again among civil rights activists. They wore this blue denim to, quote, demonstrate how little had been accomplished since Reconstruction by wearing sharecroppers' blue denim overalls. Most folks at that time linked blue denim too closely to the working man to wear them publicly. Denim was something that you wore while you were cleaning out your garage, not out and about where people could see you. Now, Marlene Komar wrote that in 1969, there were actually 200 students that were suspended from their high school for wearing dark blue pants because they too closely resembled blue denim. In fact, during the civil rights era, there were several Black American families that just renounced blue denim, on its face, due to its nature. James Sullivan wrote that for many African Americans, denim workwear represented a painful reminder of the old sharecropper system. James Brown, for one, refused to wear jeans, and for many years forbade his band members from wearing it too. James also points out that if you look at photos of the generations after that moved north to get away from the fields, started wearing suits and ties and hats to their factory jobs, mainly to create that distance from the past. Marlene Komar has a wonderfully educational article about the history of denim in the US, and everyone should go read it. So as a result of society's view on denim, activists took to the streets donning the very items that were used for their subjugation and segregation. It's another reason that you would see hippies and other like-minded individuals at the time wearing full denim outfits in solidarity with the movement. And denim itself became an act of defiance against the system of oppression that employed the need for it to begin with. So for a brand that's advertising a product that has long stood as a symbol of rebellion and breaking free from the sins of our country's past, the good blue jeans route is absolutely wild to me. According to Bloomberg, American Eagle released a statement saying that the ad is, quote, is and always was about the jeans. And they defended the ad, stating that it had absolutely zero ties to eugenics and white supremacy. However, if it is and always was just about the jeans, you can't cherry pick remembrance regarding the storied history of the item you're attempting to peddle to the very working class communities that made it storied to begin with.
But I knew that we as a country were going more conservative when people were okay with ICE kidnapping our neighbors off the street. So recently I heard of this girl, her name is Jessie Murph. She went on one of these late night talk shows and performed her song called 1965. The reason why I specifically wanted to mention her is that there has just been a random 50s to 60s propaganda on us in order to go to the good old days of when America was allegedly great. And the reason why I wanted to bring her up is that right now in our ultra-conservative country where people are literally being kidnapped off the streets and Trump and his administration are actively trying to rewrite the Constitution, white women specifically pushing out this propaganda and these visuals of going back to the 50s and 60s, talking about, oh, I want to go to 1965 so I can be treated better. Treated better in what way? I don't know. I physically don't know. And calling it satire, babes, this is not the time. This is not the time for this. This is literally not the time for this. And not only is it not the time for this, the fact that several women are making songs about going back to the ye old days and fantasizing about it, even if it's allegedly satire, babes, no. The song is bad.
It's one thing to write a song that is incredibly misogynistic and takes women back a good 60 years. It is another thing to write a song that is so horrible you can't even listen to it, because this song is a nightmare on every front. Because it would be a little bit redeemable if it was at least well written and catchy, but it's not even that. I pulled up the lyrics, and if I have to read this, so do y'all. We need to dive into these lyrics. My hair is high and coke is cheap. It's a great time to be alive. Studies are now saying that cigarettes are recommended and women belong in the kitchen. Already off to an amazing start. We'd go to church on Sunday, wake up on a Monday. You'd go to work and I'd stay home and sing and do fun things. I might get a little slap, but you wouldn't hit me on Snapchat. Don't fucking text me at 2 a.m. saying where you at. Boy, fuck you. You'd handwrite me letters when you went away. You'd make me feel better. You'd know what to say. And maybe you'd still be a hoe. But if you cheated, hell, I wouldn't know. What Dr. Seuss fucking shit is... I think that the problem here is your standards are extremely low, because I want you to love me, hair up high, like it's 1965. Oh, I want you to want me. I think I'd give up a few rights if you just loved me, like it's 1965. Once again, I think we're just talking about better standards here, not a different time period, because you're romanticizing something that was not great. You'd show up at the door with flowers and ask me, what am I doing? An hour 3:30. We'd get dinners and movies and such, and we'd hold hands and I'd love every touch. I would be 20 and it'd be acceptable for you to be 40. And that is fucked up, I know, but at least you wouldn't drive off before I get in the fucking door. You'd fucking fuck you. So we went from rhyming stuff to now we don't have rhymes at all. And the last line is just, you fucking fuck you. And in the middle of that, you talked about 20-year-olds dating 40-year-olds, and that's fine. Man, this is a little scary. I want you to love me like it's 1965. I want you to want me. I think I'd give up a few rights if you would just love me like it's 1965. I guess Bud Light didn't exist. Fuck, and I guess movies didn't exist. Maybe they did. I'm not sure about that timeline. But I am sure that you are mine and I am yours. And Dirty Dancing wasn't a thing. But I love that movie. Fuck. And oh, we could read a lot of books. Allah. So not that you needed to tell me that you didn't know much about 1965, but movies were definitely a thing back then. And besides the fact that you could have just Googled that, the last lyrics are just, like, movies didn't exist. Maybe they did. I'm not really sure about that timeline, but I'm yours and you are mine. What? It's like halfway through the song, she just gave up on rhyming anything. And she gave up on researching before she even started. This whole song is just a mess. So not only is the music really annoying, not catchy at all, but the lyrics are even worse. You fucking fuck you. Very, very well thought out. I mean, she's even admitting in here she has no idea about 1965. She doesn't really know what she's talking about timeline-wise. So she doesn't tell a story. She doesn't write good lyrics, and she doesn't write good music. Like, what is she doing here? It seems like as she gets more famous, her songs just get worse and worse.
The visuals for the music video are weird. It's really, really weird, but the whole idea of fantasizing and doing these imaginations of being in a period of time where women didn't have right to own banks, leave their husbands, and things of that nature, when our rights right now in the year 2025 are being taken away, and they're doing weird experimentation with women's bodies, like making Adriana Smith carry her baby even though she is literally dead. I just don't think right now is the time to be doing this.
What is this place? I don't know. Let's check it out though. Shush. Everybody shush. Everybody shush. It seems as if somebody new has just stumbled upon our pastoral court. Hi there, stranger. My name is Ella Pastoral, and all of the lovely people that you see before you are a part of my esteemed court. From my squires who have early access to my videos, to my nobles who have special behind-the-scenes access, to my dukes and duchesses who are able to pick out topics for my videos, to my own special royal advisors who mean so much to me. All of these people make up the Ella Pastoral court. If you want to be like these lovely people and be a part of my esteemed court, go to Ella Pastoral on Patreon. But it seems as if you need to be on your way, traveler. Let's head back to the regularly scheduled content.
And so while everybody is fantasizing about the 60s and the 50s, there are people right now who are actively working to take us back to that time. And these Christian nationalists are actively working with people in our government to go into this borderline dystopia where the man is the head of the household, not caring that men can be easily so abusive and have conflicts with their wives. And so while everybody's fantasizing about Sydney Sweeney and her good genes, our rights are being actively taken away. That's why this whole situation is disgusting to me. Like, ew, no. And there are other examples of the girls falling into the alt-right pipeline. A lot of the way that I've been seeing the girls fall down the alt-right pipeline is through fat phobia. We already see how Cardi B is acting about Samara saying, girl, can I have more sizes? You think that kind of mindset is not gonna push you further right into conservative thinking points? We're cooked, but they are trying to push this conservative ideology with a slight pink accent, like we don't see what they're talking about. It's overall a mess.